Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
back in the house, baby, for Cincinnati.
It's because we've been there. I think it's a fun tournament. The Cincinnati tournament. So it's kind of always, I don't know, cool to.
Yeah,
Like once you've been to a tournament, it gains like value. Like,
100%. I've been there actually the last 3 years. I can't make it this year, unfortunately, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite tournaments to attend. Everything is super accessible, so whoever is going, have a great time. Weather looks pretty good this week. So we'll get into that draw shortly, but let's talk a little bit about Montreal. So we got to give our kudos to Alexei Popyrin, the champion. It's a crazy run.
I don't know what to make of that dude. I think he's just like one of those random players that like. So I think he's another like. We keep talk. And honestly, I think it tells you too how like even the ATP tour is that like so many of these guys are like dog or pass. Where I feel like there's a ton of matches on the ATP tour where like I feel like probably over half the matches like if somebody is plus 150, you just like bet them.
Yeah.
With the exception of like 20 guys, it feels like like there's just a ton of guys where it's like there's just a ton of even matches or players who are just like because these guys have pretty like variable, you know, levels, right? Like
Well,
I think Popper was a clay guy, but like is he? Maybe not because he didn't do well this year on clay, but he did in 23. Is he a hard guy? Like, well, he hadn't done anything on hard for 2 years, but now he comes out and wins a Masters. Like,
I think the circumstances of this tournament kind of added to what you were saying, like the fact that there was so much rain and they had to play two matches in one day. Like you don't know how that's going to affect one guy versus another. Like Hubie had to play, six sets in one day the first day after his injury, right? Like the first time he was playing matches after his injury, and then come back and play Poppy. So like that's a. I feel like if Hubie was fresh, Hubie probably gets over the line there. You know?
yeah, I agree with that. I think it's also like this format is a difficult format. This 8 day, this like basically 7 day, because this started on Tuesday, so it was a 7 day format
Yep.
for a Masters with 6 rounds, which
Yeah.
is a difficult format.
Right.
And we're gonna have it again this week because I mean this week is comical. It's an 8 day Masters because they started today, but they ran 2 matches.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't really understand the point to be honest. Well, I understand the point, but like the point is money, but there's no like logical point
Right. Right.
to having 2 matches on day one. But anyways, I digress. But I think it's a really difficult format from like a player perspective because like almost all these guys are gonna have to play 6 matches in 7 days to win. The guys that have a bye obviously have an advantage. They don't have to play 5 matches, but it's a lot of tennis in a short period of time. And then to your point, if there's any rain, then it becomes like 6 and 6 days, or
Hmm.
yes.
I mean, we're not going to get much more of this format, unfortunately, going forward because these two weeks are becoming, the 10-day Masters, which we all hate,
I haven't
starting
put
next
the
year.
2025 calendar yet, but like, how are they going to have any other tournaments if 4 weeks are going to be these 2 Masters?
Well, they're getting rid of Atlanta, so you're gonna have like Washington with like two clay court events, and then
Yeah, fine. That's what they'll
these
do. You're
2 week
right.
Masters with the challengers, and I think they're gonna add some challenger 175s in there. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna suck. But like, I mean, we've said that Monte Carlo is the toughest test in tennis now, right? Like,
Right, right.
it's a shame, but. I mean, this week especially, I think it was just like who's going to be the most opportunistic, right? And like,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like this was a good week for a dog to kind of get through. And like, I think we had this in Montreal 2 years ago when we had Carreno Busta win the title, you know?
But I don't think I mean, this is nowhere near Carreno Busta though. Like Carreno Busta was a good player. Carreno Busta was a top 20 player. This is I mean, this is truly like a random guy, just like a random
Yeah.
ATP player winning the event. I mean, like Pop, you know what I mean? Like he's not like, I mean, like is Popyrin top 50? I don't think he was. I think his ranking was in the like low 60s before this week or high 60s
Yeah.
maybe. Like,
I mean, we've seen him play great tennis before. We've seen him win Umag. We saw him beat Fritz at the Australian Open. I thought he played a great level. So like his ceiling is very high. And I thought he played really high level against Korda and Rublev today. So, he's a guy that if he can put it together, I think he's top 20,
uh,
but
I mean, when he's playing well, the problem is like, I mean, we were kind of calling, I think at one point I called him sloppy rim because like he is like when he's ripping the ball in, it's fine, but like when the
yeah.
ball's not going in, it's it's not good. Like his floor is low, right? Like I'm looking at his results.
I mean, he's not as sloppy as like a Lorenzo Sonego.
No, but if you look at it like before this event, right? Like, yeah, I guess he okay in Olympics too, but he lost in the first. He lost to Hugo Blanchet like last month.
Yeah.
You know, lost badly to Mensick and Umag. Like, you know, I mean,
I mean, I think that there's a high chance that this is Popyrin's shining moment of his career.
oh, I
Like,
mean, yeah, I would,
I
yeah, I
don't
would.
think he ever does this again, or I don't think he ever wins anything like what higher than this is a slam. So obviously he's not going to win a slam, but I would be shocked if he wins another Masters 1000 in his
Oh, I
career.
would too. I mean, this is one of the more random Masters wins. I mean, ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I'm
think it's
trying
even more random than Jack Sock in
to.
Paris.
I mean, Sock was top 8 that year because he won that
Right.
Masters, but that Masters got him into the top 8, so he wasn't like
Yeah.
I think we were in the 20s at that point. Like, Booster when he won his Masters was somewhere in the 20s. This is like this is pretty crazy. Like, I mean, he was 300 to 1 on the outright. So, if you would have, you'd be, a rich man if you backed him in all 6 of these dog
If you
spots.
put $100 on the rollover, you'd win what 100. I think Piranha put it on the Discord.
Yeah, it was like maybe like
$63,447.
what was it?
If you bet 100 on the Poppy rollover, you'd make $63,447.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy result. Going to Andrei Rublev. I thought he played pretty poorly today, to be honest. So I don't think his level is consistent top 5 from what we saw, like, end of last year, for example.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that's fair.
he's getting there, but I think he's slightly off that level. Obviously the win versus Sinner was good, but like, I mean, that wasn't the Sinner we've seen all year. And like, we'll get into
And
Sinner.
Sinner actually said that he's not happy with his level right now. Like he said, like physically and mentally, something along the lines like physically and mentally, like I'm not like in the place I need to be.
Well, I think it's physicality. I think, you know, like he seemed winded after a lot of those long points. I think
Well,
I think playing
supposedly
two
the hip
matches
is
in
not,
one day was too much for him.
yep. Well, supposedly the hip is not fully right yet.
That's a
Um,
worrisome sign for his career if like he's struggling with hip issues at 21.
yeah.
Not good.
I mean,
It's not
I
good.
think from a physical perspective, there's a lot to be concerned about. Like the hip issues, the continuous issues with illness.
Yep.
Like and I'm not saying that he is or isn't doing the right things. There's really no way to know that. I'm not in the Yannick Sinner camp, but
He has a great team of guys around him, like I don't.
you'd know. I mean, you'd think they'd have him doing the right things, and he seems to be committed to his career. It doesn't seem to be like
No,
a
it's not a lack of commitment for
yeah. I
sure.
think it's just like he's a crappy like he doesn't have like he just might not have the body, like the physical body to play. And there's a lot of guys like this. We talk about like a Raonic or Berrettini, right? It's different, but this is kind of like the opposite of that. Like it's hard to be an ATP number one.
Yeah, I mean, we
Um,
talk about the value of like being able to withstand a season, right?
yeah,
Like Zverev is able to do that. Medvedev is able to do that without any problems. Just season after season, they're just grinding away,
yeah.
right? And like obviously the big three were able to do that, and that's a big part of their success, right? Like just Nadal really wasn't. He just was so good when he was playing. I
Well,
don't
he had an automatic 2,000 points every year, right? Like that helps you a lot.
think that's a good point. That's a good, but I don't think Sinner is going to be able to just turn up and like play amazing, right? He's going to need to build those reps and
I
then
there's a surface where he's. I mean, there's nobody in the history of tennis who comes close to Nadal on clay. At least not in the modern history, right? Like in terms of a player on a surface.
Mhm.
Like I don't think there's anybody who comes close to the utter dominance of Nadal on clay.
Yeah, I don't think that it's even close. Like Djokovic on hard or Federer on grass, like it's not even a comparison.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Um, yeah. I mean, if Nadal didn't have all those clay court warm-ups, like all those, the Monte Carlos, the Barcelonas, the Madrids, and the Romes, like, do you think he would have the same success at Roland Garros? Like, it just didn't matter?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, like going back to now, I mean, he cleaned up on clay. I mean, he won a ton of Masters on clay. Also, like he just like he didn't need to put in that much work in the second half of the season because he just cleaned up so well in the first half. And like, look, he was good on like, the other surfaces too, right? He has the full career slam. Like, it's not like he was like a bad player on harder grass, but like he just cleaned up the.
Right.
I mean, he did most of his work in the first 6 months of the year. And then like he did very little after the US Open in terms of career success. Like he
Very
never
true.
won World Tour finals. Did he? I don't know if he ever won Paris. Don't know if he ever won Shanghai. Like it's
Yeah.
what I mean. If basically it
Yeah, he
was
just cleaned up,
yeah.
yeah.
Like first half of the season he just truly cleaned up, and like that was like that was enough.
Then he'd
Um,
throw in another hard court slam here or there or something, and then that's your
well,
7,000 points.
final, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you know,
true.
look, you make a couple finals, a semi, win a slam, and clean up some clay masters, and that's 7,000 points. And you're and like rightfully so. If you can do that, you're number two in the world. Like there's not anybody else who's doing that.
Yeah,
So
credit
like
to him. Right.
yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
But getting back to Sinner, yeah, I mean, look, he's only 22 though. You got to keep in mind he's only 22. Like it's amazing how young these kids are coming up now. Like there's still time, especially with something like that. Like if you can get it fixed, the rest of the game is
He's
there.
just too frail. He's just too, not even frail, just too skinny, I feel.
Yeah,
Like his body just can't withstand an 11-month season. Like it's gonna break down at some point.
and you have the viruses, right? Then when he's
And
not,
the
when he's
viruses, and I think that was like it didn't only seem like the hip, it seemed like he was like winded, like physically winded after long
but that
points.
I mean that could be that could be coming back from illness. Don't know
But
how
the
much he.
illnesses seem to affect him more than anyone else. It's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Maybe it's just a crappy immune system.
Oh yeah, actually, I don't know that would. I mean, like we see a lot of times with these illnesses, these guys get ill and it affects them for a while. Like Cerundolo, I think was impacted. He was sick, I think, early in the season, and I think it impacted him for at
Did he
least a
have an
couple months,
illness today? It seems sure seemed like it.
possibly. I mean, that's the other thing too, right? Is like there's so many injuries and illnesses on tour. You don't even know which ones. Like when we say, "Oh, guy's just in poor form," like is the guy in poor form? Is it low confidence? Is he sick? You never know.
I
So
was pretty ill after that match.
I was.
Oh
uh,
man. That was terrible. Oh man. Uh but yeah, I mean I hope Sinner can get it back because like if we can get, what Alcaraz showed at Roland Garros and Wimbledon versus the center of, the first half of the year at the US Open, like that's what I want to see, like because I
yeah, Yeah.
to me, I would not be surprised if Djokovic doesn't play the US Open. Like he's done, he'll probably turn up, but like it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't
Yeah. Yeah.
because of like how big of an achievement this was, and like he
Well,
wants to
I think he was back
speak
in. I
it,
mean, I think he was back in Serbia. Like I think like celebrating the gold
celebrating.
medal.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
like I think Serbia brought all their like medaling athletes in or whatever. So like yeah, I mean this is like, and for him it is a huge thing, right? Like I mean like I know when he won Davis Cup it was a huge thing. Like I think the
Mhm.
like the like that. I mean he said his career is now complete, and it is like what is a 26th slam or a 25th slam like? Yeah, it's a different number. We'll remember 25 instead of 24.
Yeah, but playing for his country means so much. And like, it's not even right now about personal accolades. It's just like this accolade of winning the gold medal was just so big for him that like,
It's
how does
it's
he turn off turn on the switch again and be fully motivated for the US Open? Like, that's really
especially
quick.
especially after how much he struggled this year.
Right. Right.
Like
Exactly.
this is a great like this. It's a fantastic year for Djokovic because he. I
It
mean, it's
is.
crazy. Like we talked about last podcast, but he's won every tournament there is to win.
And this was the one missing piece, right? So like, I think to him, he's had a great season because if you told him at the beginning of the year that you wouldn't win a single tournament, but you'd win that tournament, he would take it. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, yeah,
yeah.
I'm trying to look. Is he I mean, it's crazy. So actually, it's not only has he won every tournament there is to win, the only tournament that he hasn't won twice,
It's the Olympics.
the Olympics, which is fair because it's only every 4 years. He's only,
Right.
like how many times has he even gotten to play it? I mean,
Right.
like five, but still, like, it's hard to win the Olympics twice. I mean, it's insane. Like he's literally okay, not even twice, three times. He has the triple. He has the triple. He has at least
Triple
three.
Masters, right?
No, he doesn't. I guess he only has two Monte Carlos. So everything else he has triple of. I mean, the career is insane.
It's insane, yeah. Insane resume.
Like,
Crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's anyways, moving to other guys.
Korda.
I'll be interested to see how Huey does in the next month because Huey came back, but when he originally had the surgery, he's supposed to be out the rest of the year, and now he's come back super early. So I'll be interested to
It's a
see like
meniscus surgery. Wasn't it the same thing that Djokovic had?
I believe so, yeah, but I think the doctors had said like he was supposed to be out the rest of the year, but
Oh,
he he
okay.
came back, so we'll see how he does. Obviously, this week wasn't great, but asking him to go 6 sets was
I
also a
mean,
lot.
yeah, that's a lot. Like he won what three? He beat Kokonakis in three
He go
sets,
beat
and he
in
beat
a third set tiebreak. I think he had to save like match point. Like
yeah.
that's not a
Isn't
good
that like the
start.
fourth time it happened against him? Like it feels like every time those two guys play, just better to go the distance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's what it feels like. And then he went three against Rinderneck, and then he lost the next day to Poppy. But he was up a set, right? And like, wasn't he up a break also in the second?
he might have been. Yeah, I mean, I think he was in pretty good position, and Poppy came back.
Yeah.
He might have saved match point there too. I think he saved three match points actually in that match. So yeah, I mean, pretty crazy stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the other thing too for Popyrin, right? So I'm looking at this, and Popyrin this week was 4-0 in tiebreaks.
He also saved
So
three match points against Dimitrov in this.
no. That's right. He didn't save the match points against Popyrin. He saved him against Dimitrov, or
Yeah.
against Hubie. He saved him against Dimitrov. You're right, but
I remember I was sweating the plus 3.5 because I had that with Poppy, and like that was such a sweat. And then sure and behold, he wins the whole tournament. Like it's crazy.
yeah, I mean, it was just a weird, But again, you're right. It was a weird tournament because, you know, um, yeah, just
Yeah.
a weird. I guess some other guys to talk about. Disappointing for Sebi Korda not to be able to get. I mean, I know he'd played it's been a good couple weeks for Sebi, but disappointing loss to Popper, I thought in the semis. Especially given that he only played one match, right? Or he played. I guess that was
Well,
the
he
second
played
match of
against.
the day.
They both played two matches that day because Sebi had to play Zverev early in the day.
So that was a tough match. I guess I'll
That's
give him.
that's tough. Yeah, both guys played like 2.5 hours before that
Yeah,
semi. And it didn't look like fatigue really impacted him. He just like didn't play well. Like the thing with Korda is that I think his game is very low margin.
It
His
is.
balls are like very low over the net. They don't have much spin. So if his timing is just a little bit off, he
It's
sprays a
fun.
ton of balls.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
think that's his problem. And that's why he's like hard to bet because like if he's on point and his timing is on that night, he's phenomenal. But if it's
I
off,
believe get beat. Yeah.
it's brutal.
Yep.
So
We talked a little Sinner quickly, so there's not much to say there.
yeah.
Um,
I feel
yeah.
like
Other than that,
I feel
maybe
like
should
Darren Cahill is
around.
trying to
How
toughen
about
him
your
up.
what?
I feel like Darren Cahill is trying to toughen Sinner up. He's like he's doing a really good job coaching him because I saw when Sinner was like tugging at the hip, he was like, call the trainer. He's there if he needs to, if you need him, but like get on with it. Like
Yeah,
it's like this tough love. And I
it's
think
good.
like it's good. Like I like that. I think that's what
Yeah.
Sinner needs. So
Your boy Kenny Shikori, man, he won 3 matches this week.
yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was really impressive. I mean, especially in a pretty tough tournament, in terms of coming back to back days. I didn't think he had that in him.
He lost to Arnaldi, I think.
Arnaldi, yeah, Arnaldi in
Yeah.
the quarters. Yeah, Arnaldi in the quarters, but that's a great week for K.
Yeah. I was surprised that he beat Nuno Borges.
I was too. I mean, honestly, I was surprised he beat Tsitsipas also, but Tsitsipas. I mean, I guess we can talk about that too in terms of
Sissipas, yeah, because he fired his father.
finally, right? Like,
Finally. Finally, it's about time. But I think
yeah,
Sissipas has hit rock bottom on the court. Like the amount that he's regressed since making those slam finals and winning the world tour finals to now is quite alarming.
I agree. I mean, it's well, I think on anything that's not a clay court, right? Like his clay court game still seems to be there, or specifically on slow clay, right? He did win Monte Carlo, um, but yeah, I think on any quick surface, like, and not even quick, even anything that's like medium pace, anything that's not slow,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, and it's like Nishikori is not a guy that you would think is like a Jan Leonard Struff, for example, that can like penetrate that backhand, right? Or
Well, I
rush.
mean, that was just ugly. Some of the, it seems even some of the forehand misses Tsitsipas had were like, what? Like,
I think because his backhand is such a liability, I feel like he feels like he has to do more with the forehand.
he does. Like, that's good. It feels that way. Like, it's true. Like, like,
It's
I mean, that's
true.
just intelligence. Like,
I know, but like I feel like he overpresses because he's like, oh, this is like the only forehand I'm going to get in this rally, so like I'm going to
it's
go after
probably
the
true
ball.
again. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's like, again, like yeah, it's just, it's,
And his problem with his backhand is that he has no variation on the backhand. He has no backhand slice. He has no like way to compensate for his inability to hit good topspin backhands.
well,
So
I guess I just, it's in, there's just not a lot of variation on that backhand in general. And so if he gets rushed, he doesn't have like a way to get himself out of trouble, Like guys with two-handers tend to be really good at when they're rushed on the backhand, just like shoveling it back and like hitting like
right,
I guess it
right.
would be like an ATP neutral ball, which is still a really good shot, but like an ATP neutral
Yeah.
ball and like not being dead in the rally, whereas with Tsitsipas, it just seems like he's done.
Right. Right. Yeah,
Uh,
not having a good slice when you have a one-hander is really problematic. Like
yeah,
imagine Dimitrov without a slice. Like I feel like he would be a way worse player if he didn't have that slice.
yeah, for
You know?
sure, absolutely.
So
Um, Otherwise, in terms of recap, um, I don't know how much else. Kind of a weird week again. Like some weird no shows from guys, some weird like choky matches, a whole bunch of weird results. But I don't know that anything like too particularly interesting otherwise.
um
Was really disappointed in how bad Nico Yari looked.
Yeah, I'm telling you that Rome final was his retirement speech.
I mean, it feels like it, man. He looked really bad.
He
Uh,
looks awful. Um,
I can't remember. I don't know. Somewhere, somebody told me the number of errors in that match, and it was number of unforced errors you already had, and it was pretty staggering. I want to see if I can easily look it up. If I can, I can't. But it was bad. But yeah, I bet Yari in that match, and it was pretty
yeah,
disappointing.
it's bad. Arnoldi, I don't feel like I really, even though he made a semi, I don't feel like I really learned too much or uh learned much that I didn't know about him previously. I mean, I think he's a great athlete, and I just think he has those erratic kind of duds, and I felt like that was one of them against Rublev.
Yeah, I mean, he's like he's the traditional like young, athletic, like good playing kid. You know, what I mean, I was surprised at how bad Rublev beat him. Um, I did back him against Nishikori and Kachanov
Yep.
actually. Um, but I think like I mean, given how the tournament went out, I wasn't surprised. You know,
Yeah.
like for him to beat Kachanov in my mind is not that much of a surprise. Like to me, that's probably
At
close
this
to a
point,
50
no.
match with how Kachanov is playing right now.
And then
Uh,
Fokina, that's a 50-50 match, and like I bet
well,
the
Fokina
three set
was
there.
ill. Fokina won the first set and then had some sort of heat related illness in the third set and
Really?
had to retire. Um, I was disappointed because I bet the Arnoldi 2-1 there because of how much Foki
Oh,
chokes.
man.
And to lose it that way
Smart
is
bet.
just
Smart bet.
what?
Smart bet.
Yeah, I mean, look, it had a chance to come in. It's just unfortunate the guy
Did,
retired.
yeah.
Um, and then but yeah, I think I mean, not disappointing to lose to Rublev, but disappointing to lose that badly, certainly.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think that's a good matchup for him. Like, I feel like just someone bashing balls from the baseline where he can like run down balls. Like, I think
Yeah, I would
that's
have thought so too. That's why I said like
like
disappointing for him to lose
stylistically, yeah,
games.
that's why I bet the +3.5. I didn't think he would get over the hump there, but like keep it close for sure. But he
I
has
mean,
those occasional duds. That's the thing with Arnaldi. Like he has those matches where he just misses a ton of balls and like he's actually a pretty hard guy to cap. But when he's on, he's incredible, you know?
yeah, I think I actually don't think he's that bad. Like, look, sometimes dogs lose. Like, there's a reason they're dogs, you know.
Yeah.
Like they lose most of the time. Like, so I don't think he's actually that bad to cap. It's just like you have to know, like
But who do you think is better right now, Arnaldi or Caboli?
Arnoldi.
Is it close?
It's close. Yeah, I think Arnoldi by a smidge.
Okay.
I think he's a better athlete, and I think because of that, I like his game better long term. Like I think Arnoldi's upside is higher.
I would agree with you, but I think Caboli's serve is better.
I agree, but if Arnoldi can develop the serve and improve his consistency on the ground game, like right, like he's got like Arnoldi has the defense, he has the movement, he can create offense. You know,
But he
like he's got
struggles on offense more than Caboli does.
sometimes he misses, yeah. You know, but it's I think his offense is more there than Kaboli's defense.
I would agree with that. That's true. Arnaldi's defense makes up for his
Like
lack.
Kaboli's a gunner, right? Like he's more of like he's got great shots and he can hit some great shots even on the run and stuff. But
See, I
he's
would
more of
like
like
to
a
see them play each other because I think that would be a very entertaining match.
it would be.
Would be great because like Arnaldi against Rublev, he only served 49% first serves, 65% first serve points won, and then 52% second serve points won. Like that's not going to beat anyone.
I mean, the problem is the problem there is the 49% first. Like the problem. I mean, that's actually not like the problem is the 49% first serve in there and the 65% first serve one. 52% on the second ball is fine. Like that's pretty
Yeah,
average.
that's true. The first serve percentage is very low. And I felt like it
Yeah.
was pretty low
And
against
that right?
Nishikori
Like that
too.
that's the other thing too, is like we think about that, but like first serve is a huge part of tennis, right? Huge part of tennis. And guys are really only trying to make 60%. And like some days they make 50, some days they make 70.
Yeah.
Right. So like it's just a very like, especially with these dogs, like, like sometimes the dogs lose. Like I don't, I feel like I correctly read three of Arnold. I would say I correctly read four of Arnoldi's five matches this week.
Okay.
So I'll take it, like, and I bet,
Yeah.
and I got 2 out of 3 bets right. So I'm not going to like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
complain. You make, if you read a guy right 4 out of 5 times, that's pretty good. Like sometimes you're
Yeah.
just going to get a bad read. Like,
How about Zverev? Did you learn anything about him this week?
I mean, Korda, like the top end for Korda is pretty good, I don't, I mean, like, I think he's just played a ton of tennis, Zverev, and like he still isn't taking a week off this week, but he's just played a ton of tennis. Like,
Yeah,
and
yes.
he was supposedly hurt. He was supposedly hurt,
And he just played through it.
and he played through it. He played Hamburg. I guess he got a week off, and then he played Paris, and then Montreal, and now he's in Cincinnati. And like, yeah, so he's just playing like a lot of tennis, and like,
Yeah.
yeah,
We should also talk about Medvedev a little bit because he lost early to Fokina, which I was really pissed about because like after Fokina won that first set, I put 5 units on the Medvedev money line at plus 100. I thought it
yeah,
was a no-brainer. So I thought I read that match perfectly because I had the Foki first set money line at plus 275, I think, or plus 250.
yep,
And then I had the over 20 and a half games because like I
yeah,
thought Medvedev would get it back. And if he ended up winning the first set, that still had a chance to cash. So that's
yep.
why I played that. And then I played the Medvedev to win after Foki won the first set. So I was disappointed how Medvedev played that third set. Like that was atrocious.
Yeah,
Like
I admitted we didn't see it, but yeah, I mean,
it's not a good loss.
it. The thing is, like, Foki's top end is pretty good. Like, we haven't seen much of it, but he is a talented player. Like, he does have a good top end. I'm
Yeah.
not so worried about it. It was also his first match on hard court, right? In 4 months, so right because he didn't play Washington. I don't think.
No, he didn't. He was at the Olympics.
That's right. He was at the Olympics. Yeah. So yeah, first match on hard. I'll give him a pass for this one.
He only won 35% of second serve points.
I mean, again, it's not ideal, but I'll give him a pass. Like,
Yeah, if he has another first round loss this week, then it's a bigger problem.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I mean, trying to see. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. He hasn't done. I guess he did win this event back in 2021, but that was right after the Olympics, so he had been on a hard court. But he did lose in the first round in 22 to Kyrgios, which I guess makes sense. And last year he only made the quarterfinals. He lost to Demoner, and he played a pretty bad match there too. So I don't know. It might just be like, especially with it being an Olympic year, it's like a weird event. Like these guys are
Yeah.
going all over the place, like going from grass back to clay, now over to
So much
hard. Like,
tennis. It's crazy.
yeah.
I mean, this is
So
such a jam-packed part of the
I
year.
feel like this is actually a more important week.
Yeah.
Like as we're talking about like the US Open, like for these top guys, like I don't know, I feel like drawing a corollary to another sport that's starting up, NFL preseason. Like this was kind of like maybe the first or second preseason game where like, all right, you're not that you're ever going to take too much from preseason, but like, you're really not taking very much. Like guys are just out getting reps more or less, and now like, this week is probably more important.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the
Segue. So,
important week, and let's take a quick break, and then we'll start previewing Cincinnati.
yep.
All right, hello and welcome back to the show. So let's preview Cincy tennis.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Mason, Ohio.
Yep. Yeah. Somewhat near us, you know.
Yeah,
Only like a couple hour flight away.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess talking about the tournament in general, I don't know. I feel like it's a pretty medium-ish hardcore. I mean, from most people, I don't know. I feel like most people will tell you it's slightly quicker. Um, I know Prana disagrees and says it's medium to medium slow. I think it's
Mhm.
somewhere in that medium range, personally, from watching. I feel like it's like it certainly isn't like a super fast hardcore.
I think the balls are something to talk about here. I think the balls are quite lively, and I've heard a lot of people complain that the balls are hard to control. Um, so I think that's actually more, uh, like a more important note here than the court of than the speed of the court.
It's also pretty bouncy court, right?
Yeah, I don't know what surface they use, whether they use Deco Turf or that other one.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I think it's another one that's changed recently. Like, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's these tournaments constantly change surface. Yeah, I'm trying to look up, see if I can find it. It is a Deco Turf.
A Deco Turf. Okay.
Yeah. So,
What type of balls do they use?
um, I didn't watch either of the two matches today. I wish I had because,
I saw the Paul Cavoli match.
well, did you focus it all on the balls?
Uh, I mean, Paul was definitely having trouble controlling the ball.
Oh yeah.
It seemed lively, the conditions. It was pretty sunny today as well, so um
Yeah, it looks like they. I mean, I'm just looking at pictures online. It looks like they used to be the Wilson. I think they're the Wilson U.S. Open balls.
okay.
Like it's the same balls. I think the whole U.S. Open like series is using the U.S. Open balls.
Okay. They
So
are
yeah,
pretty lively. The Wilson balls tend to be pretty lively.
yeah.
So
I know Medvedev had. I think a lot of the players were talking about how it's a lively ball.
yeah.
I think lively ball, bouncy court. Yeah, you're right. Like court speed is probably as much of a factor here as bounciness and ball liveliness.
Hmm. I remember Alcaraz was talking about it last year too, and like how kind of quick the ball came off the strings.
Yep.
And he was having trouble controlling it like early in the event, and that's probably why he went 3 sets all the time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's that. How's the weather this week?
Um. Pretty. I mean, pretty hot. Pretty hot. Pretty sunny. I think it's like high 80s in Fahrenheit. So for all you, it's around 30 Celsius, I think, for all you metric system users out there. But yeah,
Expecting
some
rain Friday and
rain
Saturday, but
Friday, Saturday. Yep.
yeah.
Um, but otherwise, pretty warm, not too windy. Uh,
So I
yeah,
think players might have to play 2 matches on Saturday. Friday looks like I mean, it's kind of far away, but it looks like rain throughout the day.
yeah. But I think to say that
Possibility.
like everybody's gonna have to play two matches Saturday is probably a
Yeah.
little sure. Like, it's pretty rare that these tournaments wash out an entire day. We obviously saw it last week, but it's much more common. They get, like the 4 to 5 hours of rain and, they have to like, I don't know, play at weird times. You have rain delayed matches or,
Yeah.
maybe two carries over a set, something like that.
But in
Um,
this format where they have to play 6 matches in 7 days, I'm not backing Sinner. You could forget about that.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
So like for Sinner to bet a Sinner outright here doesn't really matter what the draw is. I'd probably need like 7 or 8 to 1.
Okay.
That's like my minimum buy point, and I'm definitely not getting that with Sinner. I probably don't even have to
Yeah,
look.
it's 2 to 1. So I would, at least pre-tournament, it was Sinner was 210 is the price that I had seen.
Yeah, at this
Uh,
point, what price would you need on Sinner to win the U.S. Open?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there are some off days built in there. He will get a better draw.
US
Probably
Open tends to be hot there, humid.
I don't know. Probably something like, and I haven't really thought through it, but probably something between 5 to 1 and 10 to 1.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Like he still is a really good. He still is like he's probably the best pure hard quarter. I mean, you might disagree and say Alcaraz. I think it's pretty close. But obviously the physicality would be the concern. Actually, you know what? It probably would be at least that because of what he said recently that he doesn't feel like he's fully
Yeah,
recovered or whatnot like that. That seems like a problem. We're only 2 weeks away from the U.S. Open. Like I'm
I
not
know.
convinced he get that much better between now and then.
Right.
So
Yeah. All right, so let's go over this draw. I think they took some of the lines down because like even the regular outrights just because we had two matches today. Like really? Kind of sucks.
yeah, they just they take him down and recalculate right there, especially because Paul lost right. So Paul,
Right.
quarter prices especially, but even outrights, Paul was 33 to 1. So it's a slight yeah.
Yeah. So Sinner is the number one seed. He will play the winner of Michelson and Griekspoor. Giron will play Baez in the first round. Jordan Thompson will play Ugo Humbert. Taylor Fritz will play Brandon Nakashima. Brandon Holt, who qualified, he'll play Arthur Feast. Zhizhen Zhang will play Mapechi Pericard. That's an interesting first round match. And then Andrei Rublev is a 6 seed. So, what catches your eye in this quarter?
I mean, this is Sinner clearly if he's in any form, right? Or like even if he's like, slightly like even if he's slightly or even if he's off form a little bit, like this should be pretty. I mean, Sinner should be pretty clean against this group. Rublev, after that run to the finals, got to be pretty tired. And I'm not sure he's fully back yet. Yeah, I think he's in a lot better place than he was certainly, but he was talking about how he's having issues off the court, depression. So like,
Yeah.
he's I don't want to say he's all the way back. I don't want to say he's not all the way back, but I think he's in like maybe a shaky spot, if that makes more sense right now. You just don't know what, hard. Like I know he beat Center this week too, but like I think it's hard to trust him.
And I think like in Madrid, he took advantage of a weird week on the calendar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I think this
that's
was a
what
little
it's
bit
coming
less
down to.
like
What?
I think this was a little less weird, and at least like players weren't like dropping and defaulting out here. It was just guys playing twice in a day, and he was on the side where that wasn't as much of a concern, right? The top half was a
Well,
little
it's
bit less.
funny because he beat Alcaraz in Madrid, right? And then he beat Sinner here.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's fair. That's
So
fair.
yeah, but I mean, he has a really tough first round match. Like I wouldn't want to see, Zhang or Mapechi Pericard in my first round match.
It could be bad, right? Like it could be bad. It could not be so bad. I feel like what I mean.
Right.
Like it depends how those guys play.
I actually really like Fritz in this quarter. If I got Fritz at a price of like 6 to 1 or 7 to 1, I would probably take it. Um, I really don't like what I'm seeing from Center. And like if his hip is really not feeling well and he wants to peak for the US Open, like I wouldn't be surprised if he plays a match and is not feeling it and just is like, you know what, I'm not gonna play. Like I think that's a distinct possibility here. And I also think Greek sport could be sneaky here, like in that first match. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Greek sport takes a set.
I agree. I mean, I'm not sure about the number of 7 to 1. I have it at more like maybe 8 to 1, but but honestly, that's pretty close. That's really splitting hairs. But yeah, I agree with that comment.
I mean, Fritz hasn't been that good, but like you also talk about how he plays so much better on American soil. So that's another thing that's going for him here. I think Rublev is kind of a fade here. Granted, like that Montreal run definitely took something out of him. And if you remember
Yeah.
correctly, I don't think Rublev did very well in Rome after he won Madrid.
No, he was a mess for like 2 months after that again.
Right. And I think he lost in that event to Giron in the second round or something.
So yeah.
Right.
Is that the event where Girona almost beat him, or is that the event? I think Girona almost beat him in the second round. Like he might have served for the match.
Yeah,
Or
but
didn't he choke and then Rublev maybe lost the next round?
uh,
Yeah, that happened. It was 7-5 in the third.
yeah, he
Rublev beat
lost to Muller. I remember it was a bad
Muller, yeah.
loss. Yeah.
I mean, it's actually not better. Like that's actually worse.
It's actually that's true. Yeah.
uh,
But that's really it. I mean, I think actually Fritz could struggle against Nakashima. But if he gets through that, I like his chances to make the quarters, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it's not Sinner there in the quarterfinal. Because like I think he might play around and be like, you know what, I want to rest for the U.S. Open. I think that's a possibility.
it's a possibility. Yeah, the only thing is there is a week in between.
Yeah, true, true.
So I'm not. I think it's a really tough. It's a really like. I had the same look as you did on Fritz. That's really the only look I have from a betting perspective. I think all these other guys are just too flaky and could lose. Like these other guys could all like lose too easily to one another to be like worth. Unless you get like unless you're looking like a 50-1 shot to win a quarter or something. Like all these other guys are just like flaky and could lose to
Right.
anybody.
Agreed.
Um, but but I think Sinner in general makes this a tough because like if the hip isn't an issue, then Sinner dominates this quarter.
Right. Right. And it's like no
So
one here, Jerome, Baez, Thompson, or Humbert, none of them those guys can hurt Sinner. I think even with an injured hip, like
yeah,
just better than all those guys,
it
So um
would be Fritz. I mean, the answer would be Fritz potentially in a quarter, but Fritz has got to win 3 matches to get there.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, like I said, I think if my buy point is somewhere in that 8-1 range, but
Okay. I'd probably take it at 7-1. But
which again is splitting hairs, right? It's like 12% versus
right.
14%, like it's pretty close. But yeah,
Yeah. All right, second quarter, Zverev will play Kachanov. Kachanov beat Cerundolo in a bet that you won and I lost. Props to you.
thank you.
I mean, that was a complete beatdown. I think I'll owe you a beer when we go on vacation. That was atrocious. It's like, oh my God.
Like honestly, you can't even feel bad about that. There's no way to predict that was going to be 0-3. Like you'd almost feel worse if it was like 4-3, where it was like, okay, you had a bad read and he got beat. This is like he just didn't show up. Like,
True, true. Sucks, but yeah. All right, moving on. Purcell will play Thomas Mahak. Purcell made the quarterfinals here last year. Took a set of Alcaraz.
yeah,
We called him Mad Max last year in Cincy. I remember that was his nickname.
all right.
So he'll play Mahak. Carreno Busta with a protected ranking. He'll play Sebi Korda. Shelton will play Opelka. It's going to be a snooze fest serve bot kind of match. Echeverry will play Arnaldi. Marjan will play Corentin Mute, who qualified here. And then Grigor Dimitrov gets a bye as a number 8 seed. I don't really want to back Zverev just because of how much tennis he's played.
The thing is this draw. I mean, with the exception of Korda, honestly, this draw is not like the easiest form. Like, I don't think any of those guys are exactly guys he'd want. Like, Kachanov's a good matchup for him first round, just like matchup wise.
Yeah.
But, um, like, I mean, Makach, Purcell, Korda, I think those are all tricky guys for Zverev.
Not Purcell. I think Mahak and Korda are.
I think Purcell just because like I think Purcell isn't like just matchup wise. Like obviously Zverev's way better, but like Purcell's gonna. I don't know, man. Like, do you think Zverev wants to play against the guy who's gonna like keep the rally short, be doing a lot of like slicing, weird forehand slices, approaches? Like that's not Zverev, the guy that Zverev wants to play against. He's gonna be picking balls out of the ground. Like,
I hear you.
I mean, and now again, like the opposite part of that, he's just a way better tennis player than Max Purcell.
Right.
Like Purcell literally sometimes can't hit a topspin forehand. So
I know.
like there's a pretty big gap there in terms of skill level. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a tricky matchup. I mean, the guy I'm looking at here is Dimitrov. Like Mute on a hard court. Marzan, no. Marzan's just really struggling right now. He lost to Busta.
Yeah.
From 2 breaks up. I mean, from a set and 2 breaks up, he
Oh,
lost to
that was
Busta.
an epic choke job last week.
Yeah. Um,
I bet Busta down 5-3 in the second at 12-1. It's one of my best hits of the week. Live.
yeah,
live
that's.
bet. It was really good.
I mean, obviously Shelton in an American tournament always gets a little bit of a bump, but he hasn't been playing well. Opelka is just a serve bot. I mean, honestly, Shelton's the same thing. Um, yeah, I don't really like. I think this is a good setup for Dimitrov. I mean, and then if he can get Zverev after he has to play a few more matches and tire himself out a little bit more, like I generally don't like Dimitrov against Zverev just because I think that's a tough matchup for Dimitrov physically. Like Zverev's just like physically tougher, but I don't know. I think
I mean, Dimitrov is just coming back from injury too, right? Like we gotta mention that. So I wouldn't back him unless I got a price of like 5-1 or better.
well, that's
Honestly.
what I was thinking to win the quarter. We agree. I think 5-1 would be my price for him to win the quarter. But you might get that in a quarter that's got Zverev. You know,
Zverev doesn't get the respect that like Sinner or Alcaraz get. I don't think you're I think
it's not gonna be like minus money to win the quarter. I agree with you on that, but I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll see. I think it's like let's
yeah,
see
I
what.
don't think you're gonna get that. I would be very surprised. But all right, next quarter we got QB Hurkacz. He's the number 5 seed. He'll play the winner of Yoshi Nishioka, who qualified, or Kecmanovic. Tabila will play Luciano Darderi, and that winner will play Flavio Cobolli, who beat Tommy Paul in a very entertaining 3-set win today. Musetti will play Nico Yari, the struggling Nico Yari. Davidovich Fokina will play Francis Tiafoe tomorrow. Lechka will play Mariano Navoni. Isn't Lechka coming back from injury?
He is. Yeah, he hasn't played since Madrid.
Wow. Okay. And then Medvedev will play the winner of that match. So I really like this spot for Medvedev. I think this is a bounce back spot for him. Obviously that first round match is going to be really good for Medvedev. Musetti is not a hardcore player. You know, I think
Yeah.
he's way better on hard or grass. I think we both agree on that.
Yep.
He's in good form, but like I don't know how well it's going to translate to these courts. Fokina and Tiafoe obviously are dangerous, but like you know, for them to win 3 matches to get to Medvedev is hard enough, and then to actually beat Medvedev is another story, right? Like, and I don't think Fokina is going to be able to do that 2 weeks in a row if he gets there.
Well, he's got to get through 2 matches to even get there, right? Like,
Exactly,
and
which
with
is
the heat illnesses he's been having, like this is, I mean, it's the second time that he had issues against Jordan Thompson too. I remember back
yeah,
in with Washington, you know, so
yep.
like I wouldn't trust Fokine to even get there. I don't, yeah, I don't really, I think it's a pretty good spot for Medvedev. Um,
And
I
then
just don't
Paul is
know kind
out
of.
already. And then like Hubie, I think this is actually good setup for Hubie too, in a way.
I'm just not really sure I buy into Hubie, you
Yeah.
know, as a player. Right now with coming off the injury. I bet that I'm a little concerned that he's even playing, and then he didn't really play well the entire. Like he didn't really have a single match that I would say was like a good result. You know.
Right. He even went
So
with Rinderneck.
what?
He even won 3 sets with Rinderneck.
I mean, yeah, and yeah.
But that's what Hubie does, right? Like But I think this is a good like spot to back like a Tabilo or a Caboli even. Now that he got through the toughest match, or one of the tougher matches he's going to have in this quarter. Like if Paul, like before this
I
event,
like
I was
think
going to
about
back Paul actually.
I get that. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it because I was thinking I was gonna back Paul also, but now I don't have to because I didn't put the bet in and he's out. So
Yeah,
and I did and his
exactly.
outright price was 33-1, which I didn't really this is a tough tournament to play outrights on just because of you've got so many tough guys in here. You've got Alcaraz, Medvedev, and Sinner. So like,
Right.
like somebody might have to beat two or three of these guys. That seems tough.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what Tabilo's outright is on this quarter.
Yeah.
I'd probably play him at anything better than like 18-1, 19-1, like in that price range, I would take it.
Yeah.
Probably not going to get it, but like, especially with Paul out now.
I think Tabilo, yeah, if you can get double digits on Tabilo, I think to win the quarter, I think that could be an interesting look and something big to win. I mean, I don't know if winning the event's realistic, but something double digits to win the quarter could be interesting.
Yeah.
Um, Med, if you can get decent plus money, something in like the 150 to 200 range could be interesting, I think, to win the. I mean, just because I think he's got a good setup here, but I don't think you'll get that. Um, those were my two thoughts. It's a tough quarter to back. I don't really want to back Hubie, so it's a
I mean,
tough one to
although
back.
I think Yoshi or Kecmanovic are great matchups for Hubie first round.
I agree. I agree. But maybe not, right? I don't know. I'm not yeah, I don't know. I'm not really as convinced in post injury
I mean,
Hubie.
you can probably hit the over, but like you can hit an over on any Hubie match.
Yeah. I don't know.
As
And then
far
the
as the
bottom
last quarter goes, we
quarter.
got Casper Ruud, who weirdly withdrew from his match with Korda. I was
Yeah, I was
bummed out because I bet Korda at plus what, 105 or something right when it came
yeah,
out. I hammered 3 units on it.
very bizarre. Very bizarre. I mean, very bizarre.
Did he want to play golf or something? Like,
Very bizarre. I mean, yeah, like very bizarre. And he didn't really specify a reason, which I don't know. I guess like if you made him specify a reason, they would just make it up. But I feel like the tour should make them give a reason.
was he like fed up with the rain or something? And he was like, "Fuck this! I'm not going to play 2 matches in one
I
day."
mean,
Or just like,
I mean, legitimately could be right. Like, I don't, like, I mean, Rude doesn't take the grass. Like Rude. I mean, Rude knows that his season is essentially over, right? Like he has a 4 month season. It's April to July, and then that's where he makes his money. Like, and everything else is just gravy.
I guess I just thought he was like this like professional guy who like took every
Oh,
tournament.
I mean, like, look at the way he treats Wimbledon. Wimbledon's
I
the most prestigious event in the sport. He doesn't give a shit about. He's like, oh, hopefully I can go win a couple rounds. Like, I've never heard a top 10 player say that about Wimbledon, like, oh, hopefully I can win 2 rounds. Like, I've heard players complain about it. I've heard players say they don't like playing on grass, but I've never heard a player literally say, like, my goal this year is to win 2 rounds. Who's in the top 10?
top
Like,
10. Yeah, that's true. All right, so he'll play the winner of Felix Auger-Aliassime and Kovacevic, who qualified, beat Rinky today.
he was coming back from the Olympics, right? Although, no, he lost first round in Montreal to Caboli.
Kaboli,
Yeah,
Kaboli.
definitely like 2 and 3, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Not a good week for the Canadians last week. Let's put it that way.
No.
Pretty embarrassing in their home country. Draper will play Juame Munar, who qualified. He beat Sonego in qualifying today. Jan Leonard Struff will play Sissipas. Oof, that's not a pretty matchup
First round match. That's a
yeah,
really fun.
he might be crying to get his father back after
Yeah.
that. uh, Holger Rune
This
will play.
feisty first round match. Rune Berrettini.
That's tasty, very
Yeah, that
tasty.
is a tasty first round match.
Yep.
Man,
Monarino will play Nuno Borges. Monfils will play Popyrin, the Montreal champion, and then Alcaraz is waiting. This is a tough quarter, man. This is brutal.
I actually don't think really so, right?
Well,
Like if
yeah.
it's high, that hurts Draper, and Draper did not. Like, who did he lose? Who did Draper lose to in Montreal? He did not play well.
He lost to Thompson, 5-2. Yeah, we
Yeah,
backed Thompson as a plus 220 underdog. I remember
yeah,
that.
that was a nice hit for both of us.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think like assuming Draper's not
I don't
like
think these hot conditions with like lively balls are good for Draper.
great for Draper. So given that, like, I really don't think this quarter's that like this quarter's got a lot of big names who really aren't very good like in this event. You know, honestly, like it's a kind of like
Yeah.
like if there's an overrated quarter, this would be like the overrated quarter.
I actually
Um,
like Berrettini. Like I would back Berrettini to
uh,
win this quarter at like
love Berrettini. I love Berrettini.
uh,
Yeah,
if I can get like 15-1 for him to win this quarter, I would like gladly take that. I
yeah.
might actually take him to win the event at 66-1.
So you saw that price also.
I did.
Yeah, that's so the only thing is, so I agree with you. The only thing is I think it plays better as a rollover. Um,
Just because he has Alcaraz in this quarter.
no, because I actually like I'm gonna play him against Alcaraz probably. It's more that I think with Berrettini, well, so A, like Alcaraz, I don't think is gonna lose to Monfils or Popyrin. So you probably will get that, you probably will get to roll over into that spot. Right? Like when you want to take outrights is if you think the draw is going to fall apart, right? So you're never going to get that big plus money on the guy that you're rolling over. But like he should get that big plus money spot against Alcaraz.
I mean, I was actually looking at Popyrin as being a trouble match for Alcaraz. Not now, since Popyrin is just coming off the win of his life, but like what do you think of Alcaraz here? Like I don't necessarily see him as like, oh, he's gonna dominate this field because
I completely agree. I mean, I don't think he's I think he's like and
I'd
not that
be
he win this event, but
like
um
Alcaraz to lose sets here, not necessarily the match, just because he's such a beast, but like to lose sets or go over on games, like I think that's the way to attack Alcaraz in this tournament.
oh, I could easily see him I mean, I could easily see like even a Monfils, like maybe not because I just don't
And
think it's good match.
Amalfi's not really, no. He just
But
doesn't
like,
have the weapons.
yeah, I think you're right. But like, I agree with you. But I actually think that Berrettini would be a live dog against
I
Alcaraz
agree.
specifically.
I
I
agree.
think matchup wise, like he's got the serve right. Like so, if Alcaraz tosses away a break, there's no guarantees getting it back. And Alcaraz loves to toss away breaks for no reason. Like so. Yeah, I mean, the guy I'm looking at here from a betting perspective is Berrettini. Like, obviously, Alcaraz is the favorite to win
Mhm.
this quarter. Obviously, from like a pure tennis perspective, he would be the pick. But I I think that, but I think like the only particularly interesting match is Berrettini Alcaraz. Like the rest of these guys are mad to me.
I think
Like in this spot.
it's a terrible quarter for Sissipas. Like Sissipas, I know he's in bad form anyway, but even if he was in good form, these are guys that he just doesn't want to see in a draw. Draper, who has that forehand that can attack the backhand with the slice serve, and then Struff, obviously, just a big game who's just going to impose himself against Sissipas's return game. And then like Alcaraz is like I think it's Sissipas's idol. I think he just like is in awe of him, more than anything. Berrettini, obviously, it's not a good matchup so I don't think he could have handpicked a worse draw. Sissipas. That's
I
my
agree.
thing.
I agree.
Like it's just atrocious.
All right.
Um,
So I guess I can't find any quarter prices, but I did find some outrights. So some outrights out there that I'm seeing. Alcaraz plus 150.
no, thank you.
Interesting. Sinner plus 275. I don't think very interesting. Medvedev that's 7-1, I don't think is ridiculous. I'm not on it, but I don't think that's ridiculous. Um, Zverev at 11-1. I don't love it just because of how much tennis he's played. Rublev at 28-1.
No.
No. Korda at 33-1. No. Fritz at 40. Getting there, but no. Tsitsipas, no. Dimitrov, I think Dimitrov at 40 is kind of interesting. I think that's worth discussion.
Mm. He's in the Zverev quarter. I mean, he's in a good quarter of the draw.
He's in a good quarter. He's got a pretty darn good draw. Like I think he's got about as good of a draw as he could ask for. Um,
He did win this event before, and he did
yeah.
win make the final of Miami. So like he has shown some success at Masters level.
If the hip really isn't right for Sinner, like, and Sinner's got a couple tough matches
Yeah.
before this. Like, if he's a little bit tired or whatever,
I
like,
would take it, but I would only take it each way.
okay, okay, yeah, I'm not on it. I don't think it's like particularly amazing, but it's close. I thought it was worth discussion. Kachanov, Hubie, Rude, and Draper all at 50. None of those guys are interesting. And then Berrettini, I think, is the only other guy worth talking about. He's at 66. Yeah, again, I prefer it as a rollover, but I think to me, that's the interesting play. I was looking at Berrettini's stats this year. It's incredible, man. Like, so Berrettini.
A couple years
Berrettini is
ago, you were
third.
making fun of how much I liked him.
I know. Berrettini is the third best win percentage on tour this year.
Wow. After Sinner and Alcaraz?
Yep. Yep.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
wild.
Sinner at 91%, Alcaraz at 84, Berrettini at 81, Djokovic at 81, Zverev at 77, Ruud at 77. Those are the top six.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, right. And then service points won. Berrettini's won 72% of points on serve this year.
Wow.
Tied with, I mean, he's behind, so almost second only behind Sinner, which is pretty amazing.
What's his best win though?
Tabilo. He beat Tabilo. Beat Tsitsipas on clay.
It's altitude clay though, so it's not as
True. I mean, that would be it. It would be those two wins, kind of like the hallmark wins for him.
honestly the Sinner, the losing what 3 tie breaks at Wimbledon was pretty good. Like
I mean, let's take it the other way, right? His losses this year are to Monte Carlo against Kecmanovic playing back-to-back weeks, which he's not good back-to-back weeks. We know that.
but he didn't
Like,
play since Gstaad, right?
what?
He hasn't played since Gstaad.
But that's fine. But I think that's fine. Kitzbühel, since he won Kitzbühel.
Kitzbühel.
But like, I think that's okay. Like, I don't think Berrettini.
No, that's good. That's a good thing for him. If you're going to back him here, like I want that.
It's good.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is he just doesn't like. Yeah, but I mean, it's like I said, he's got 3 losses this year. Sorry, 4 losses. I'm looking it up again. Sorry, 6 losses this year for Berrettini.
Sinner at Wimbledon.
Sinner at Wimbledon, Murray in Miami on back-to-back weeks, Nuno Borges in the Phoenix Challenger final, Kecmanovic back-to-back weeks in Monte Carlo, and Yaron back-to-back weeks in Halle. So it's not bad. Like the only two bad. I mean, like the only really troubling loss there to me is Nuno. Because like we know Berrettini can't play back to back week or struggles to play back to back. He did win Kitchbull back to back, which is pretty incredible.
That
So
was a final, right? In Phoenix?
what?
That was a final in Phoenix.
It was, yeah.
Who did he beat on that run to the final?
Oh, Gaston, Cazot, Atman, and Vukic, which isn't bad for a challenger.
Right. And then Borges, did he get romped or
Oh, 5 and 6.
okay? But yeah, I mean that's his potential second round match, so that's why I was interested.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that, like, yeah,
Is he
I
a
don't know.
favorite against Holger?
He is, which sucks. I know, man. Like, that's the problem with the rollover is like, I was hoping to get him as like I would have even taken Pick. Like, to me, Pick would have been a pretty clear bet for Berrettini, but
100%.
what?
100%. I mean, I think that's the right line. I think he should be a slight favorite against Holger. Like, if Holger has been
Yeah.
really bad.
And he just changed coaches again. He dropped more Toglu.
Wouldn't it be funny if Holger hired Tsitsipas's dad?
You think it's not like that? Like, there's like some sliver of possibility where that happens.
That would be amazing. I would absolutely love that.
No, I mean, guaranteed he's gonna bring in one of the celebrity coaches. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
who's Brad Gilbert coaching right now?
Coco.
Right, yeah, he's busy coaching. Yeah, Coco. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. He's busy coaching Coco.
Yeah.
But I feel like he'll go for one of the celebrity coaches. Like he's got to make that splash.
Probably.
But yeah, in terms of like outrights, like that's the only thing I would even see. Like I said, I prefer Berrettini on a, especially because like if Berrettini gets into a spot that's going to be like difficult physicality wise or like rain, you can always like you know once you click the button on the outright, you're kind of tied into it unless you hedge it in the finals or semis. Whereas with like with a rollover, you're not tied in.
Yeah. It's just, with the rollover, you like if you're not disciplined about it, like you just basically are playing match by match and you're staking differently, right? Like that's really what it is. Whereas like the outright is just, you don't it's not a high unit play for a 66-1, especially with Alcaraz in the same quarter, but at least you have some skin in the game where you don't have to like think about, other players in the draw, losing and all that, right? So I at that kind of price, I kind of don't I understand that you're getting more value in the rollover, but like I don't think about it. I'm just gonna play the 66-1,
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Because like, if Berrettini plays Monterino, for example, he's gonna be a massive favorite, right? And then say, for example, Alcaraz loses to, to Poppy or Monfils, like all of a sudden that rollover doesn't have much value anymore,
Yeah, I mean that's the negative side, right? It's like it could completely fall apart. Like, and you're hoping you're really counting on getting a good price on that Alcaraz. Like if that Alcaraz for I don't know, for some reason like something happens that Alcaraz Berrettini match gets priced up at like a plus like a minus 200 plus 150, which it was not going to, but if it did, like that really sucks.
I mean, I think the books are going to be smart. They're not going to make Alcaraz like a, minus 600 favorite. I think he's going to be close to like minus 350. Berrettini plus
minus 450 plus 350, something like that. I think it'll be a solid, like, I don't know. Alcaraz always is a solid favorite against anybody that's not like Enoch Sinner,
True. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like Casper Root here. I mean, I kind of like FAA in a way.
Yeah, FAA could be playable here, but he's 50-1. I just think it's like, and FAA is like his outdoor hardcourt stats over the past 3 years. He's like barely above 500.
True.
Now these are pretty good conditions, maybe until Thursday, Friday, but
I actually don't think the lively ball and the lively conditions is good for FAA.
no, it's not. I agree.
Because he's kind of error prone and erratic as it is. So like those guys, you don't want to fool around with.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get into individual matches.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we got here. So we got Tabilo against Darderi. Do you want to do it, go through each one, or you want to just see what you like?
We can just go quickly through ones that we don't know. I mean, like, so Darderi, Tabilo, like, I'm not sure how to play this because, like, is Darderi actually bad on hard, or is he just not experienced on it? You know, like, I think we almost don't have enough data to say.
I thought he actually played pretty well against Tommy Paul in Montreal.
Right, and if we think he's like a decent hardcourt player, or like 3.5 is a pretty big. I don't think it's a ridiculous line, but 3.5 is a pretty big line, especially for Darderi, who's got a good serve. So I'm probably not on this.
See, I stay away from Tabilo in round one because he can dud early on in events. He's done it at the French. He's done it at the Olympics. He did it in Madrid, I think. But
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would say about the two slams is that he won the warm-up events, right? So I think it was just like, I don't know. I think there's kind of more of a reason there, but I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I hear you.
once he gets his teeth into an event, he does pretty well. But I think the first round is kind of risky. Like he can dud.
I hear you. I mean, this year he's 13-6 in first round matches and 34-16 overall, which goes to your point. I mean, he's got a pretty similar win percentage in first rounds as his overalls, and like you'd expect a player to do better in the first round because they're playing in weaker competition.
How
So
often
yeah,
has Tabilo been going over in those first round matches?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, this is interesting. 6, 7, 8, 8 and a 13.
Wow. Okay. Is it 3 sets?
All 8 of those, they split the opening. The players split the opening 2 sets. Um,
Reset line is plus 145 here. Thinking about it.
yeah, yeah. I think I don't think that's ridiculous. I think it's interesting. I'm not going to tail it, but I think it's an interesting look.
I think that's what I'm gonna play. I think that's a decent look. All right. Giron and Baez, I think that's a mess of a match to bet.
Baez, like we always talk about how bad Baez is on hard courts, but like I'm not convinced he's that bad on outdoor hard, especially like
Giron's been also really bad since the Newport title.
what'd you say?
Giron's been bad since the Newport title.
Well, that's not one. That's 1 or 2 matches, right? That's the Olympics and one other match. So it was weird scheduling for him to play Newport, knowing he was going to go to the Olympics and then come back and play Montreal. I guess that's the only thing I'd say in his defense.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not on this because I actually think like I think both players are a little bit better than maybe what the general market would say here. So that kind of offsets, but yeah.
See, it's funny. I think they're both a little worse than what the market thinks.
Yeah.
But Zhang against Paracard. Oof.
Just play the tie breaks now. The problem is like everybody knows it, right? I mean, honestly, like that pair card at over 12.5 games at minus 130 looks pretty interesting. You've got to think that basically pair card to win a set.
Right. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little worried because it's Zhang's first match at the Olympics. Um, but that's my only concern
Well,
there.
then just take pair card in the money line at even money.
Yeah, but I actually think Zhang is like, I think he's slightly better at this point than Paracard. So I'm probably just gonna stay away.
It's a day match. It's sunny, lively conditions, lively balls. Like I don't see how either player breaks serve here.
I mean, yeah, I think the tiebreak. I think the tiebreak line could look pretty good. But I mean, what is the first set tiebreak like? Plus 150 or something? It's not plus 140.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna take the pair card over 12.
over. If you're gonna play this, I think the over on that Perry card over 12 and a half looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Like that's basically a pair card to win a six. I mean, 6x seems pretty unlikely here.
Yeah. Foki and Tiafo. This smell or tastes like 3 sets to me.
That's what Sean Calvert said today on the Bet Rivers
Oh,
pod.
really? I didn't even listen. I'm just going off what I
I
feel.
that was I had the exact same initial thought. Um I don't like all these heat related illnesses for Foki. So because of that, I'm gonna stay away. But otherwise, I think that's exactly that was my thought. But I just don't like these heat related illnesses for Foki.
Yeah.
Twice in like 2 weeks or twice in 3 weeks is too many for when it's gonna be another hot day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Also, like putting TFO second on like a hot day probably isn't like he's like an energy guy, right? Like is his energy level going to be up? Like
Yeah,
honestly, the more
it's America.
what
It's America.
we remember you remember him against O'Connell.
True. That's a good point.
Like,
That's a good point.
yeah, this is one that for me, I think the more I think about it, is just it's a pretty messy match. But I don't think the three set line is a terrible look. Like, you know, it makes there's definitely a lot of different theories and lines of thought here. Like I think
See, it's funny because like I would either go 3 set line or under. I would never go 3 set line or over.
right, right.
It's weird. Actually, the Tiafo 2-1 is not a bad look at plus 300.
It's not. It's not. Chokina.
Chokina going Foki brain.
Yeah. His other illness.
Because I actually do think Foki is the better tennis player.
I think so too. Right now, the way that TFO's been playing all year,
Yeah.
yeah.
Michelson and Greek Spore.
I was really hoping to get Greek Spores or Michelson as a dog here because I think this is actually a pretty even match. But uh and I was also what is over 22 and a half here?
Minus
Ew.
145.
Ew. But man, that over 23 and a half actually could be the look here. FanDuel had a my play here would be FanDuel had an over 22 and a half at minus 120.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's still out there, but if it is, that would be a play.
Yeah, I mean, over 22 and a half and over 23 and a half is it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Um,
22 and a half for these two guys. Like, who breaks?
I mean, I didn't like what I saw again from Greek Sport against Sonego.
What is the first set tiebreak here?
Quite good. It's plus 265.
That could be the look. Like,
What about these over 12 and a halfs at minus 135, minus 125?
yeah, I mean that's where I would go. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'd be looking overs here. I think it's pick your favorite over line, but like I think all those look good. Like, yeah, I think all
Yeah.
those look good.
I think I'm gonna go with the over 23 and a half.
Okay. I mean, I think all the overs look good here. Like
Not
it,
juiced,
yeah.
but I agree with you. I would have bet Michelson if these lines were flip flopped, I would bet Michelson.
Okay. I don't. I mean, I think this match is very. I probably wouldn't, but I think this match is very flippy. Like,
Okay. Ooh, this is my favorite bet of the day. I'm on Navoni at plus 275.
just because Lehechka's coming off of injury.
And this is not a good matchup for Lechka, even like off an injury or like even if healthy, because Navoni just like scraps and gets a ton of balls back, and like Lechka sprays. Like I don't trust him against a counterpuncher usually.
Yeah, I just don't know what Navoni offers on a hard court.
Yeah, he offers just getting balls back.
On a hard court, I mean, I guess I
Yeah,
don't know. I just feel like he's just so like. I get you. I hear you. I'm not on this. I just
that's a
again,
good enough
getting
price for me.
what?
It's a good enough price for me. Oh, he hasn't played hard.
I mean, he's got his hard court matches are the loss to Fritz 4-1, lost to Prismich in 3 sets at the Australian in qualifying, lost 1-2 to Lucas Klein in qualifying at the Aussie Open, or not the Aussie, at the US Open in 23. And then before that, there's a couple of challengers back in like 2020 through 2022. But that's like, yeah, very, very little. And like watching Navoni play, like you can tell why he's just like a hardcore just doesn't work for him. His game is so built for clay. I'm not on this,
I
but
hear you. It's just I don't trust Lechko off an injury.
I hear you. I hear you also. Like I think I think it's a reasonable take. I just not gonna tell you, but I think it's a reasonable take.
Maybe, you know what? Because it's only 75 cents difference. I'm going to take Lechko Navoni in the set one money line,
Okay.
not the full match. I think that's what I'm going to do.
I think it's reasonable.
If it was like plus 150, then I'd go the full match, but like that's not that big of a discrepancy. So I'm going to go the first set 2-1.
All right.
Shelton and Opelka. I am all over the Opelka plus 2.5. Like I can't see any breaks here. And I could see Opelka sneak out a tiebreak.
What was hilarious is I don't know if you saw Piranha post in the Discord.
Yeah.
Uh, I think maybe Underdog or somebody had a prop up of Shelton to generate a break point. One break point
Oh.
at minus 110. The over under was half a point generated.
You have to go over.
You have to. You have to. That was the whole point. Is like,
Right.
and obviously, like otherwise, but you need to be running to the bank for this plus 2.5. They'll Pelka at minus 130. It's scary because one breaking you're screwed, but yeah, I mean, does Shelton generate a break? I don't know. I don't see how. The other look could be the first set tiebreak is like what's that gonna be another plus 140 look?
Plus 120. I'm actually tempted to go under.
I mean, you could take the over 10.5 games then for set one at minus 115.
No, I'm actually tempted to go under just because it's so like I think it's like overly skewed to that side now.
But how does either guy break?
We remember we did this with what was it, Raonic against Korda, I think in Queens. Remember?
Yeah.
where like the over under was 26 and we just did the under on principle.
Yeah.
Or the under, I think the under 12 and a half in the first set was like minus money,
Yeah.
right? And we just did it on principle.
Yeah.
And we got burned. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting to that point where it's like it's almost better to take the under on principle.
Yeah, I think I mean my initial play is just take the 2.5 with Opelka. Like I don't know how the guy generates breaks
Is that
here.
GBM?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Let's do that. I'm on Thompson plus 175 against Ugo.
This is my favorite play of the day. Yeah, I completely
Like
agree.
Thompson continues to be undervalued, I feel.
He does, and I don't really. I mean, I understand why, because like he's underpowered, but yeah, I love this. I love this line. That's probably my favorite line, and that sat there now for like a full day. Yeah, that's my favorite line. I absolutely love it.
Okay. All right, GBM.
Yeah, that's another GPM.
Beautiful. Muzetti Yari, I'm off of it.
Umber's form hasn't been very good lately. I guess just I mean, like he just lost to Nuno in Montreal. Like just to talk a little bit. I mean, because it's a GBM, we didn't really say much about why. And there's really nothing, I don't think, like looking at Thompson, there's really nothing to hate. Like, I guess you could hate on the loss to Zverev, and he could dud, but you're getting plus 175 on it. Like,
yeah, but Ugo is not Zverev, right?
he's not. He's not.
And Ugo doesn't have nearly as big of a serve, right? So Thompson is going to get some looks. And like, you know, being underpowered against Ugo is not the end of the world. Being underpowered against Zverev is death, right?
Although Thompson had done well against Zverev in the past because he's able to keep the ball low. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so last 52 weeks against guys ranked between 21 and 50 in the world, or if you just take this calendar year, against guys ranked between 21 and 50 in the world, on non-clay surfaces, Thompson is 3 and 4. I think that's about right. Like, I think that I do think Humbert probably wins, but plus 175 is a really good price. Like, I think you're doing really well if you can get anything better than plus 140, plus 145.
I agree. I think that's where the line should be.
Yeah.
Ugo hasn't really been in great form either, right?
No, not for like months now. And then like this is kind of the story of Ugo Humbert's career. Like he does great for a few months, and then he comes back and doesn't do well anymore, or doesn't do well then for a while. Another interesting thing about Humbert is he's a much better player indoor hard than outdoor hard.
What's the weather? Is it going to be windy tomorrow?
Oh, it's nice weather. I just think Humbert, I mean, I've said this in the past. I think Humbert does better. He does better on indoor courts, indoor hard courts. I think specifically French indoor hard courts when he has the crowd behind him.
Yeah, 2 to 4 miles per hour with gusts up to 11.
What?
Gusts up to 11 miles per hour, but 2 to 4 mile per hour. It's pretty good, pretty mild.
So like last 3 years on indoor hard since beginning of 22, Humbert is 31 and 13 indoor and 45 and 27 outdoor. So, you know, winning percentage indoor is, what is that, like 70% indoor versus 60, little over 60% outdoor. So pretty big discrepancy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like that. And Humbert has a low margin game, right? He hits kind of flat shots. So
Very flat, very flat.
His timing isn't there. It's problematic.
Which is why I like the Thompson money line, because I do think I do think there's, I mean, the Thompson 2-0 could actually be a look here too. I'm just going to take the money line, but I think the 2-0 could be a look also.
I agree. All right, Muzetti Yari. I'm off of this just because, like, I don't know, Muzetti, you know, surface transition. I don't think this court is great for him. And then Yari's just been in terrible form. So, like, I kind of want to back Yari, like if this was like 3-4 months ago on a hard court, I would be all over Yari, but like now I can't really get there.
It's only as one for me. I'm on Yari. It's only a 1 unit play, but I'm on Yari plus the 3. It's only a 1 unit play. It's like a cover your eyes and you click the button and then just don't watch it afterwards. But I looked at the stats, and if you look at this year against top 100 players, these guys are pretty similar on the stats. I don't have the stats in front of me, but there's on hard court, there's not much separating these guys statistically. It's really how much do you believe in the form that he's shown on soft surfaces, that being grass and clay. Um, and that, I mean, that's the only thing that's putting this line at 3. 3 is a big spread, especially with the Yari serve. So I'm taking the 3, but it's not my favorite pick I've ever made.
Yeah, I mean, I can't just with how bad Yari's been.
I
Like,
know.
regardless of surface, just like how bad he's been playing tennis. You
I
know,
know.
so I can't. Yoshi and Kecmanovic. I kind of like the Yoshi money line here at -125. But again, this is like a close your eyes and just like pray. Because like I hate betting. I actually don't like betting Yoshi either, just because like how whiny he gets if he's like down. You know?
It's just a mess of a match.
It is. I hate backing Kecmanovic. I'll never back Kecmanovic.
Man, I think this is pretty right. Like I think both these guys are pretty similar level talent players, and they both like have high ups and downs, but that's reflected in the betting line. Um, yeah, I don't think there's much here. I mean, what is the? You could look at a 3-set line here, but both these guys can get whiny. Like
Yeah,
I don't
nah.
think it's a good play either.
I actually kind of like the under in a way.
I don't, because like it's the books all the line is already adjusted for that, right? Like in a coin flip match, like the neutral on a hard court tends to be more like 23 for a coin flip match like this,
Yeah.
and you're getting a juiced under, like that's really like 22 and a quarter or 22, so it's already kind of adjusted for that.
I think this is my close your eyes and pray match. I'm just gonna play the Yoshi money line at -125.
I'm not.
See, like that's my reaction to the Yari, and this is your reaction to this.
Yeah, I just think like Kecmanovic does sometimes play well, right? He sometimes he's hitting that ball and he's like that low margin game. He's hitting lines. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And I feel like Yoshi's game is actually kind of similar too. Like, so yeah, yeah, that's my take here.
Yeah, I think the fact that he qualified, he's like also used to the balls.
Yeah, yeah, I
Like,
hear
and
you.
he beat scrubs. Like he beat Kazo qualifying.
Yeah, although Kazu's been really up and down.
Yes. Fritz and Nakashima. I think I'm gonna take the 3 games with Nakashima. I kind of also like the set 1 over. Maybe not. Do I get set 1 over? They don't have set 1 over 9.5.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take the 3 games with Nakashima. Like Fritz does struggle in first rounds.
All right.
Right? Like
So
even against Navoni, like he didn't break serve until 4-all in the first set.
but once he did, it was smooth sailing. What is the Fritz 2-0? And specifically, what is Nakashima did not win a set? I think it's the last one listed on the page. Yeah, it's still out there at plus 115. Brendan Nakashima did not win a set, which is basically the 2-0 for Fritz. That's what I'm on. I also like the over on the first set, the over 10.5 in the first set at plus 115. I agree with you there. So I actually looked at this, Manny. So on outdoor hard courts in the past 3 years, so since the beginning of 22,
Mhm.
Fritz is 15-2 in first round matches in the last 3 years on outdoor hard courts. And in 13 of those 15 wins, he won in straight sets. Nakashima is better than most of the players he's played in those matches, but I do think Fritz plays a lot better on American hard courts. And a lot of the, yeah. So
Do these guys have a head-to-head?
I think they do, but it's only 1 or 2 matches, though. It's not very meaningful. I think it's like a couple matches from like 2021 or something.
2-0. Yeah, 21.
It's 2021. I don't know how meaningful it is.
What about this notion that Nakashima struggles against power players?
Probably true. Right? Like, and then, like, my other question is, like, how does Nakashima break Fritz?
Yeah.
Not like Nakashima has a whole lot of variety.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, that's true. Nakashima doesn't really have the tools to make it a ball bash, or like to not make it a ball bashing contest.
And Fritz is a better ball basher.
Right.
So I mean that's
Like
another
that's why Musetti is not a great matchup for Fritz, because like Musetti has the tools to make it about variety and other things, right?
Right.
Whereas Nakashima doesn't. So yeah, I mean I hear you. I'm hesitant to play Fritz in round 1. But it is in the States.
I mean, it could just be random, but I think it's a different story on American hard courts.
Yeah. You know what? You talked me off the 3-0 or the +3. But now I'm thinking about, like, I'm still off the 2-0, but I'm gonna think about it a little more. I might be on it. But I'm definitely off taking the 3. So Holt and Feast. I kind of like taking the 4.5 with Holt.
Yeah, I like Holt in some capacity here too, man.
Yeah.
I don't know about taking the 4.5, but like maybe like a set 1 money line or a Holt. What's Holt to win a set?
+115.
Yeah, you could look at that. I think either that or set 1 for Holt could be the look.
I think Holt 2-0 is actually a look at +625.
Well, I guess go back up. I mean, what is he to win the first set?
+230.
I mean, my issue there is like, so the implied odds there is that like if he wins the first set, he's then 45% likely to win the second set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think of Fees as a player who like goes away. Like he might have an off day. Fees could dud. I get it, but I think I prefer that just.
I don't like these conditions for Feast. Like lively balls.
Oh, we're on the same side of this, man. It's. I think it's pick your favorite Holt line. You know what I mean? Like I completely agree. I think my favorite Holt line here is the first set, but I think all these Holt lines look good. Like I think it's really just pick your favorite line.
I'm gonna go the first set and the 2-0.
All right, I get it.
But I also like the oh man. I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely backing Holt in some capacity here.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting. So So this year, Feast against guys ranked outside the top 100 is only 6-4.
Wow.
He's got losses to Pedro Pedro was outside the top 100. That was unclear. It's probably unfair. But he lost to Pedro. He lost to Zhao, remember? And he played terrible in South America, I guess, to be fair there, too. But he lost to Garin and Estoril. He lost to Muller in Rome. Like, he's susceptible to bad losses for sure.
I think he's still recovering from the Hamburg title.
I don't know that I agree with that. I just think he's susceptible to. I would disagree there. I just think he's susceptible to poor performances.
Yeah.
Which, again, we're on the same side of this. I think Feast is by far a better player. And I understand why the spread is the way it is, but
yeah, slightly overhyped at the moment. I agree with that. So, then on the Wednesday we got Monterino Borges. I think that's a pretty accurate line. I gotta see the spread in the total, but yeah.
Yeah, I actually might be on Monterino there. Monterino's looked like moderately better. He did win a set. I mean, we make fun of Rinderknecht a lot on this pod, but I don't think Rinderknecht is that bad on hard courts. I think he's I don't know, I think he's somewhere between 50 and 100 in the world, and Marino did take a set against him.
I'm lower on Rinderknecht than you are.
Tennis matches, but he's looked a little bit better.
I'm lower on Rinderknecht than you are.
Everybody is, but I mean, there's somehow the guy is ranked between 50 and 100 in the world. He wins he wins half his matches at the ATP level. You know what I mean? He I know it's awful to watch.
It is. It's the worst tennis to watch.
But he does win matches. It's kind of similar to Kecmanovic in a way. Where these guys, is it good to watch? No. When you're is it the way I would coach tennis? No, but these guys do win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Monterino, he won a set against Bellucci, won a set against Rinderknecht, won a set against Opelka. Granted, that was on grass. I might if Monterino to win a set is a decent price, I might take that.
I think Borges is underrated though. He's actually not that bad. I backed Bukic today in qualifying, and Borges just kind of tore him apart.
I 100% agree that Borges should be a favorite here.
Yeah.
This looks long. And I wouldn't even want to bet on Monterino to win a match. I want to see what Monterino to win a set ends up coming out at, or what is it right now?
I think taking the Borges, if you want to back Monterino at some capacity, I'd take the Borges 2-1 at plus 265.
Yeah,
because the thing is, Monterino is so low on confidence now that I feel like if he gets in a winning position, he's still going to struggle to get there.
Yeah, that's a good look. That's probably what I'll consider is playing the 2-1.
Yeah, that I would go that route. To back Manarino to win in this match, I'd probably stay off that.
I agree.
If you want to take Manarino, I think to win a set is decent, but
yeah. Moutet against I love the Moutet first set money line here at minus 125.
Yeah, it's probably a good look. I'll probably be on that too.
Really, you think Marjan's going to come out and really understand how to play against Moutet's funky game?
I don't think Marjan understands how to play anyone.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think he just closes his eyes, and if the ball goes in, he's happy.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like with Marjan. And if it goes in, it's amazing. But if it doesn't, it's a problem.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe you guys are figuring that out. I love this style matchup for Moutet, man. I can't believe set one is actually at a playable price.
Yeah, and it's the same price as the
it's amazing, man. It's first set after first set after first set, and nobody seems to notice from a betting market that
crazy.
He's a better player in the first set.
Yep. I mean, I would take the 3-set line pretty much against anyone else, but I don't know if Marjan is ever going to be able to figure it out.
I know. I
So
know.
like I'm just gonna play the first set and
And
just
what's the Mutet 2-0?
I don't trust him to I'm gonna lay off that plus 180.
Yeah.
No. So like
Just like Marajan doesn't really respond either if he loses the first set. Like I was looking, if Marajan loses the first set, he's like 1-11 or something this year. In match where he lost the first
bad.
set. Like, yeah, like if he doesn't, yeah.
It's true, but then like the
He
chances
doesn't
are that,
get
that
dropped.
Mute doesn't clown at any point in the match is 1 in 11.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's
So,
the problem.
so
Yeah.
that's yeah. No, just the first set. Let's shorten the finish line there. FA and Kovacevic. I actually want to back Kovacevic in some capacity here.
I agree. I agree. I mean,
So is Kovacevic, I can never figure this out. Is he better on quick courts or slow courts?
think he's slightly better on slow courts, is my opinion, but slightly. I think a little more. I think it's weird because he's American, he's just more used to playing on hard courts. I think he's a better hard court player, but
I feel like both of these guys are kind of similar in a way, actually.
I think
In
they are kind of similar too.
different
The other
levels.
thing is, looking at this match, is like FA doesn't start tournaments particularly well.
Right.
So I kind of like. I think Kovacevic, the first set money line for Kovacevic could be a look. I think we'll see what the overs look like for the first set, but first set overs could be a look. Like I think there's a lot of looks here on the first set, or taking a pro Kovacevic viewpoint here.
I mean, FA did beat Jerome pretty easily at the Paris Olympics.
Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you can just look at the rest of the matches, though, right? Like that Hoffman match was not pretty.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I
He
think he
lost to Yoshi on clay though. In Madrid, yeah, he lost the first to Yoshi on clay on clay in Madrid. Like I guess what I'm saying is I don't think this is going to be smooth for FAA. FA over 12.5 could also be a look, depending on what you get there. If you get a reasonable price on
Kovacevic
that.
also qualified, so he's
Yep.
used to the balls and the conditions. I think Kova to win a set at minus 120 is actually a pretty good, decent look.
Yeah. Or maybe maybe the FAA. What is FAA 2-1? Like the standard plus 250?
Plus 260.
That could be a look. Like FAA shouldn't, I mean, I don't think confidence is a problem for FAA anymore.
3-3 loss to Kaboli. See, like, that's what I want to avoid. So, like, in that match, I played the over and like it didn't get there, even though the dog won, right? Like
Yeah, then you take your COVID to win a set and you're just happy. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't trust FA on these fast surfaces. Like I think clay is his best surface right now. Or like indoors when it's like, calm,
Yeah. I
right?
agree. I
Like it's
agree.
one of those two. Like if he's gonna play
I think
outdoors, he needs that
the
extra time on the ball.
FAA. Yeah, I tend to agree. I like Kovacevic in some capacity. I think it's just like pick your favorite
Yeah.
capacity.
All right. Poppy and
But
Malfeas.
it seems good at the minus 120.
What's that?
I said to win a set probably looks good at minus 120.
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
Popyrin and Peace.
Pop. I'm off
I
this.
won't fear at plus 110 just because of the fatigue angle.
Oof. Yeah, I'm gonna be off this. I can't. I don't know whether to weigh fatigue more or confidence more.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's always a tough one to get right. Like I just don't know, and I just don't want to play that game when there's so
Yeah.
many other matches. So I'm gonna play
I'll
off. But
play
I get it. I get the Monfils money line. Rune and Berrettini. Um
line just keeps moving further and further to Berrettini, man. But I think it's like, I don't know. This one, yeah, like I think Berrettini should be favored. I was really hoping he wouldn't be, but he is.
I might just say screw it and lay the 1.5.
Yeah, I hear that take.
Or play Berrettini 2-0 at plus 170.
Yeah, that certainly is an interesting look. I don't know. Yeah.
Rune's
Yeah,
returning
I don't
stats have been really
think for
poor
it.
this year.
What?
Rune's returning stats have been poor this year.
Um, I guess. Although if you look at his hardcourt stats, so hardcourt against the top 100 this year, he's winning 35.5% of return points. That's not bad.
He's only breaking 19.1% of the time, though. Under 20.
Um, I'm trying to see what the average is across the tour.
On hard.
Yeah.
On all surfaces, he's only breaking 17.9%. Whereas last year, he was breaking at a 21%, 22% clip. 20 and 22, he's breaking at 24%. So his break percentage has really dipped.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bode well against Berrettini.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I tend to agree. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah,
I also think, like, as far as Berrettini outrights, I think it would have helped him if he was playing on Tuesday, where he would have that day off. Because the
I
fact
agree.
that he's playing Wednesday, he's going to have to play 6 rounds in 6 days.
Yeah, 6 days in a row. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I mean,
Like, I think the scheduling matters, and with these 1 week Masters.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's why I like the rollover better than the outright.
Mhm.
Um, I probably won't be on this. Room does kind of play up against better competition too. It's.
I'm starting to fade that take now. Like, I
I mean,
just think he's
3 and 6
struggling
is
as a
Zverev.
whole.
His Zverev isn't terrible. Like if he
Yeah,
wins that
I
tie,
mean, he still couldn't cover the 3.5.
yeah, but he got to a tie break. Like that really is like that. If you lose a match 6-3, and you take the 3.5 or over 22.5, you really just got hooked. Like it's not a bad read.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll probably. I mean, I certainly wouldn't back Rune here because I do think Berrettini's a significantly better player. But
Mm.
like I said, I'm just so disappointed that Berrettini's a favorite here.
Yeah. Draper and Munar. I'm off that. I gotta see what time of the day that match is being played before I even cap it. I think that match.
Munar's also better than you think on. I mean, I might have into bum Munar. Munar's better than you think on fast surfaces, man. Like he's not like he's not good. He's not that bad.
I watched some of the match against Sonego today.
But he's
After
done. I mean, he wins
after
some matches on hard courts. Munar.
what's that?
Munar does win some matches on hard courts.
He does. He does.
Um,
I mean, on paper, it's not a good great matchup for Draper because Minar's just going to get one more ball back, right? Like that's his style. So I feel
yeah, I mean,
like that
I
could
think
that
the
could
big,
frustrate Draper, especially if it's like hot outside, middle of the day. Like Minar's not bothered by that.
yeah, yeah. The problem is, I was like so. Munar does win some matches, but he tends to be like worse players. Like, I mean, the best guy, like if he beats Draper, he'll probably be the best players ever beaten on a hard court. I'm
Mhm.
looking at his the last 4 years. He beat Busta. on a hard court. And that's really it. I mean, there's Casper Ruud, but Ruud's not a good hard court player. Yeah, I mean, it's really truly just like it's just Busta.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he does okay against like weaker competition, like guys who are outside the top 50, but Draper might be a level outside his league.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Because like Munar just has like no weapons to match up with a guy like Draper. Like if
Right.
Draper's hitting the ball in, it's over.
I'm probably gonna be off of it. But if the match is like at 1 o'clock and it's sunny and hot,
It's
different
tempting.
story.
It's
Tempting.
tempting. Yeah.
I'm Oliver Struth in multiple capacities. Plus 155 to beat Sissipas. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, I love anything Struth here. I also love the over for the first set. Honestly, the over for the match looks pretty good too. You can also,
I could see 4-4. Honestly, I'm not even touching the over. I'm just touching Struth money line. I'm probably gonna play plus 2.5 games as well.
yeah, I like the 2.5 in the first set over personally. I think that but I get it. Like you could easily, I mean, like it depends on how much turmoil Tsitsipas is in, right? Like I definitely get the
The
take. Like
coaching's take, and I don't think he's hired anyone yet, right? So he just
oh,
like,
look, is the 2.5 GBM? I'll make the 2.5
oh
GBM.
yeah, the 2.5 is GBM, no doubt. I would play the money line as GBM too.
I won't, but I'll play the 2.5 as GBM.
All right, fair.
And I'll also be on the 10.5 in set one.
I'm gonna have 4 units on this. I'll have 2 on the 2.5 and 2 on the money line.
All right.
Yep. What else is there? Purcell and Mahawk. I know you like Purcell more than I do. I kind of like the over 22.5 here. Is my take. I'm curious to see what you have to say first.
Yeah, I looked at it. So that my take was exactly the same as yours at first. I mean, initially I was on Purcell. But I was looking at it. I'm gonna pull up his
I'm not on Purcell. I just like the overs.
no, I'm saying well, I guess on Purcell / overs, you know what I mean? Like that's fine. They're kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of similar, right? With the spread of
Right.
3, you're kind of backing the dog or backing the dog to stay competitive. Um, the problem is Purcell on hard this year for the top versus the top 100
Mm-hmm.
is 3-11.
Mm.
And even if and the best player he's played that he's he lost to Rune, but everybody else he's lost to is not like anybody like it's not like he's losing to like top guys. The point is he's just getting it's not been good for Purcell. He's 3-11. It's the top 100 on hard this year. Hold break total of 87 and a service points return points one total of 93.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. And maybe some of that's yeah. And even if you look at like, and his best win was on a slow hard court in Los Cabos against Arnaldi. His other wins are Golfan and O'Connell in Atlanta like a couple weeks ago. He's playing a little better recently, but I
Mahawk
mean,
hasn't been good.
what?
Mahawk hasn't really been that good lately.
No, he hasn't. Like I think this is two guys who really like. That's why my initial thought was Purcell, but then I looked at it more, and Purcell really is not. He has the occasional good match, right? Like when he played Rude tight at the Australian Open, like he has the occasional match where even that was probably more Rude than it was Purcell, but like he has the occasional match where it looks cool because he's like the slice game is really messing with guys and getting in his head, but like
Or what he did in Cincinnati last year.
yeah, want to see yeah.
Who did he beat in that run?
I beat a couple of real players.
Yeah, didn't he beat Rublev?
He beat Popyrin, Van Ash, Rude, and Wawrinka.
Damn, what a run. And then
Right, like, and
took
then
Alcaraz to 3 sets.
what?
Then he took Alcaraz to 3 sets.
And like, and he won and he made a final of Eastbourne a month ago. So like,
Yeah.
there's some reason to believe, but it's just like, I don't know, man. I like it could work. And maybe Makach gets like confused. He's a younger guy, maybe probably not used to this kind of matchup. Like maybe he gets confused, but maybe he doesn't and just runs him over. Like I think this line is pretty right in the end. Honestly, I could see going like I could actually the more I think about that, the more I could see going anyway with this match.
Yeah, it could go in a bunch of different ways. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably stay away. What's the Mahawk over 12.5? Minus 125. Yeah. Yeah, I need a day to think about that one, but I'm leaning overs there.
Yeah. Purcell's so hard to know what's going on with him, man, because he seems like kind of like he has like these
Yeah.
random like too.
Corena Boost and Korda, I'm off of it. I'm leaning taking Korda in some capacity, but like, no.
What did I write here? I'm
You're on
on
something?
I'm on Korda. I hear you, Manny. I was writing down notes for this match, and my
Yeah.
note is scary because Korda's always game to drop a set for no reason, but probably worth a shot. But that's exactly it's another one that's a 1 unit play. It's similar to my Yari play where this is like you just
Okay.
click the
Just like
button.
close your eyes. Yeah.
Like, and this has nothing to do with being happy, excited about Korda. This is me just completely like I don't think there's anything left to boost this tank.
Okay. But I mean, you say it all the time. 4.5 is a lot of games,
It is. It
right?
is.
Like it's a
It
lot.
is.
Yeah. And Korda can
He
like
just is 3-1 to Runa.
it's true. It's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
And he was barely beating challenger level guys, like when he was playing in the challengers to try to get set up for this run. So like, yeah,
Yeah, kind of
like I
talking.
said, I agree. 4.5's a lot of games. Like that's why I'm like, it's like it really is like a close your eyes and pray bet. It's not anything I'm super excited
Yeah.
about.
And then Etch and Arnaldi, I'm on Arnaldi minus 115. Like
I agree.
I
I
think he's
agree.
way better form. I
EBM?
think these quick courts is not good for Etch. Well, it's not quick, but like the balls and all that. Like I think Arnaldi's more like quick twitch and a better athlete. So like I think he's more equipped to dealing with that than Etch
It's
is.
also not a match where Arnold's gonna have to play like Etch is a big serve and forehand guy, right? Like it's not a match where Arnold's gonna have to play like a ton of long rallies,
Right, right.
which is the one where he'd like make errors and have to overhit and overplay his hand, yada yada. Like
Yeah, Arnaldi can stick around, defend, and like force Etch into errors. Right? Like he's
yeah,
not
also like create interesting points and
right.
uh, which can be a problem. Like which can be a problem for Etch. Yeah, I like Arnaldi here just because of the matchup. The fatigue is potentially an angle here. I know Sean Calvert's against us here. Sean Calvert's on Echeverry, but I'm on Arnaldi here. I
Me
like
too.
the matchup.
I'd make that GBM as well if you
Yeah,
want.
I'm a GBM.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's it.
So recap the plays. So tomorrow we got I'm on the Tabilo Darderi 3 set line. You're not on anything, right?
Nope. Nope. I don't have much tomorrow. I have more stuff Wednesday.
You're on Baez. I'm on nothing. Zhang Paracart. I'm on Paracart over 12.5.
I had to go, I
Top
tell you.
30. You're gonna tail me on that?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Fokina Tiafo, I'm on the 3 set line reluctantly, but I'll do it. I'm probably also gonna play the Tiafo 2-1 at plus 300.
Yeah.
I'm on Michelson Griekspoor over 23.5. Is that GBM?
No, no, it's not, but yeah, I'm not the over 23 and a half. 23
I'm
is
on
no.
I'm on the Navoni set one money line against Lechka just because of the Lechka injury. I'm on the Opelka plus 2.5. I think that's GBM, right?
Yeah,
Minus
and
130.
Tom GBM tomorrow.
Nice. And then Thompson as well. All right.
Yeah, I'm on
Good.
the Nico +3. I'm not excited about it, but I'll play it.
I'm on the Yoshi money line against Kecmanovic. Not excited about it, but I'll play it. You're on the Fritz 2-0, right?
Yep, yep, +115.
Thinking about it. I got to think about that one a little more. We're on Holt in some capacity, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'll probably take the first set. I think if Holt loses the first set, it's not looking good for him. So I'll probably take the first set.
I think I'm gonna go 2 units on the Holt to win a set. I think that's how I'm gonna
Okay.
play it. And maybe sprinkle on the Holt 2-0. So, as far as Wednesday goes, I
Mutet first. That's got to be GBM, right? The
that's
Mutet
gotta be
first.
GBM. Yeah, Mutev first set for sure.
I'll probably end up on Manarino to win a set. Now, I'll probably end up on Manarino in some sort of either overs or to win a set against Nuno.
I'm gonna
We
be on,
both
some capacity there.
You'll be on Nuno in some capacity.
Probably. If I can get like 2.5, well, it's probably not. It's gonna be more like
With that line, it'll probably be between 3 and 3.5, probably 3.
hmm, I'll probably lay off, honestly. It's tough.
Yeah.
Mute first set one, obviously. Kova in some capacity, right, against FAA.
Yeah, probably Kova to win a set as well. We'll probably end up on the same line of the Kova to win a set. The more I think about it, the more I like that line.
Although I think the first set is most likely plus 180.
Yeah,
I might play a little bit of both, but yeah, Kova set one could be, or Kova to win a set could be GBM. Poppy and
money
Monfils,
line just because
you're on
of
you're on
confidence.
Monfils, right?
What? Yeah, I'm on the Monfils just because of
Yeah. I'm
confidence.
laying off. I'm probably gonna lay that 1.5 of Berrettini.
I'll probably stay away from that. Draper Muno, I don't know yet.
Depends on
That's
weather and
that's
all
like a
that.
thing, right? Struff is a GBM, the 2.5 with Struff.
Yep. I'm also gonna play the money line at plus 155.
Yeah. Oh, I'm also on the
Purcell.
first set. First set overs, 10.5 at +150.
Okay. I won't be on that just because I think Struff can 4-4 him.
I hear you.
Yeah. Purcell Mahawk. I'm probably gonna be on some kind of over there, but like not high confidence play. I'm off Busta Korda. You're on the -4.5.
Yeah.
And we're on Arnaldi at -115. That's GBM as well. So
Yep. So a bunch of GBM plays. We'll see.
nice.
It could be pain or it could be joy.
It's been more pain than joy this year, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. A
Yeah.
quick look at the carry challenger. It's a very, very strong challenger field.
Okay.
I just want to just skim through the matches while we're
Yeah,
talking.
usually Carry is a pretty strong challenger field. It's funny, my sister lives down there.
Oh,
Yeah, no one. Maybe next year I'll go down for the challenger to
yeah.
watch the challenger and hang out with my sister. That could be a fun thing.
Where are the lines? Show more.
There it is.
There's carry. All right. Um, eh.
If the weather's decent, you got to think, oh, Vertonen's a decent play against Jack. Hey, not knowing anything at all about.
It's outdoors though.
But what is the weather?
Oh, it's pretty sad. I got carry on my weather app. Uh, chance of rain, but like cloudy.
Okay.
Not that windy though. Gusts only up to 9 miles per hour. So, but Jaquette has been pretty decent lately. He qualified here. He beat Radu Albot. He beat Hugo G. He beat Nava. And Vertinen hasn't done much, I think.
We beat Mayo.
Yeah. Vertinen just can't be trusted, but like, I'll probably be off. I'm not gonna play that match. Goffin and Quinn, that seems pretty accurate. Roman and Atmane, it's an interesting match.
It is. May to win a set seems kind of interesting there. Or maybe an over 21 and a half.
Roman lost a set to Passaro today.
That's
So
not good.
it's
That's
not
not good.
good. Yeah. It's not a great line though. I think if you're gonna play Outman, you play the set one at plus 150.
Or you could play the over 21 and a half.
Yeah, something like that. Ooh, Harris money line against Eubanks plus 130. That seems like a decent look.
Does.
Karatsev against Kukushkin. Karatsev struggled to put away who was it? Was it Karatsev that played Passaro? Yeah, Karatsev played Passaro, lost the set. I think Roman played Gigante. Yeah, he lost the second set 6-2. So not very impressive from the two Russians.
Yeah.
I think Kukushkin can actually frustrate Karatsev with that flat ball.
You'd think.
No.
Hmm,
So but I'm
maybe.
probably gonna just be on the Harris money line here. And then maybe Otmane to win a set. But it's over is only 21 and a half on a quick
That's
court.
what
That
I'm saying. The over was pretty good there
seems
too.
good. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But it's an interesting challenger field. It's pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, think about it, right? That's what happens when you have these really strong masters. Like it's why I hate the 2 week masters, because like
Yeah.
when you have the smaller field, you get these really strong challengers.
Right. Right. Yeah. Although the second week when the players lose from the Masters, they go to the Challenger Tour, right?
That's true. 175s are insane. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
All right. Well, that does it for our mega pod. So all the best. Hopefully we can come back midweek and do another one. I hope.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
And maybe some spaces like during the matches.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, some fun stuff coming our way. So all right, everyone. Have a good night.
Yep. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Yeah.